All right, up here at the top right-hand corner of the map is our Zerg player, the team MVP. He is up 1 game. He is on the verge of winning the series and winning the group. He is DongRaeGu. And down here at the bottom left is our foreign hero, the great hope of the non-Koreans. He is scouting very early this game. He is Evil Genius's Huck.
Scouting very early, making his pylon on the high ground. Not going to do a Forge Fast Expand like most Protoss would try to do on this map, because he's actually, I don't want to say he's smarter than them, but he wants to play safer than them, because this map, it's so hard to Forge Fast Expand on. The choke is extremely wide. Roach aggression shuts it down. I don't know how many games I've cast where I've seen a Protoss try to Forge Fast Expand and someone like Jelizerg just makes 3 roaches and laughs at him and picks it all of his buildings.
Yeah, this the natural is so open, so wide on this map that it's really hard to hold. Probably going to see him do something like a 1-gate or a 3-gate expansion build instead, is what I'd expect.
Yeah, making his gateway really late at 15 to get some extra probes out. Wanted to get some extra mining as well, since he did go for that early pylon scout. And I think we're going to see him maybe 1 to 3-gate expand, depends on how much aggression he thinks his opponent's going to put on, how much risk he wants to put into his expansion. Even so, similarly to how we were talking about a Forge Fast Expand, in general, it's very difficult for Protoss to expand here, because part of the Protoss expansion relies on that wall off they have to make at the natural, and it's not easy to do that on this map.
And Huck is actually sending his probe home. Huck is known for being one of the most annoying players in the world at that with his initial scouting probe.
Yeah, he's given him the name Huck Norris at times.
Yep, because his probe
cannot be beaten, man.
Cannot be beaten, I guess.
You can't surround that probe. Not going to happen.
He does things like harassing probes or harassing enemy drones, and he'll start mining the mineral patches to make sure the drones can't mine it, and he'll stop so they can pick up the minerals. It can actually be very effective.
And 6 Zerglings actually being made for DongRaeGu, a little bit more than usual.
Interesting.
Zergling speed started. Of course, he is doing a speedling expand. He's going to make that hatchery now that he's chased away any possible probes.
I wonder if the 6 Zerglings were in response to the fact that he scouted that Huck didn't have an expansion. So he's like, all right, well, if he doesn't have an expansion yet, he doesn't have a forge, then he might be putting on some aggression on me, and I might need Zerglings to defend.
I like that. I think you're exactly right. And now he's taking the towers of the Zerglings. Continuing to check with that Overlord that he's flying away, that Huck isn't making a Nexus right now. He does not, however, have any information about how many gateways Huck is making, nor how many gases have been taken. And in fact, he hasn't even seen the sentry, but his Overlord is now going to see the Nexus.
Wow. Pretty gutsy here by Huck, making that Nexus with just 1 sentry and 1 zealot.
Yeah, this is a really, really gutsy move. And right now, DongRaeGu is actually checking around the entire map with all of his Zerglings to see if there was anything hidden. But now he's actually called all of his Zerglings all together. We have to have a meeting at the top of the ramp to decide how we're going to punish Huck for going for a 1-gate expand.
Pretty much. Huck's going to start setting up his wall now. And here comes the Zerglings going to try and harass there.
Yeah, with
Huck
only 6 Zerglings, he's not going to be able to really do anything. Huck should be able to block this quite easily.
Beautiful force field.
Yeah, it was a nice force field, trapping those Zerglings outside, making sure the sentries wouldn't get targeted down.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see Protoss players, if you don't nail that force field perfectly, you actually trap the Zerglings in with your sentries and you still lose a sentry.
Yeah.
And 6 Zerglings for a sentry is actually a good trade.
That's a really good trade. Now, Forge is going down for Huck. He's added 3 gateways, so he's going to be following this up with just 4 gates to make sure he can hold his base, even making the Forge just in case he needs to hold off any sort of crazy aggression. DongRaeGu is starting a Roach Worm, but that's at a pretty normal timing. He's probably going to make a few Roaches. Might just try to control the center of the map a little bit better. I expect to see DongRaeGu take a 3rd pretty soon, though.
This reminds me of 3 months ago. this style of Protoss play. It used to be that 1 or 3 gate expansion play was the thing to do, and oh my goodness,
10 roaches. He actually pulled up larva to make this many roaches, and I was mistaken, man. I was like, I don't think he's gonna do it. Then right before they started coming on the production tab, I looked at the base and I saw all the larvae sitting there, and I was like, oh, he's gonna make 10 roaches, man.
Wow, and this is the reason why people stopped doing this kind of expansion build. Well, maybe not stopped, but I mean, this is why it became
it's less popular.
because
Most people like to use cannons to defend rather than
Zerg
sentries.
started punishing him for it, and he's actually rallying 18 Zerglings with speed
Yeah,
to
this
the
is-
front as well. This is going to be really tough for Huck to hold.
This is the Roach Speedling all-in that I'm sure many of you who don't play pros have heard about. Many pros who are watching this have dealt with on the ladder.
Oh, and he doesn't even have cannons
He has
right now.
no cannons, and the Zerglings are going to draw the forces back.
no.
And the Roaches are going to come at the front. Force fields going down. Not the best force fields in the world. In fact, 2 force fields overlapping each other at the same position, and the Zerglings still get through.
Oh, no. He
Sentries.
lets the Zerglings slip in, loses the sentry.
Yeah, the sentries, 1 sentry did get taken out, but more importantly, he had to use so many force fields on those. And now the Zerglings are attacking the probes.
He needs to fight with those probes against the Zerglings.
Yeah, the
There's so many
Roaches are just
there.
doing so much damage to the Stalkers and the sentries.
If he can get one more warp in, though, he might hold this off.
Yeah,
but at what cost? He's losing probes now as they pull off the line to defend.
He is going to hold this, actually, but losing a lot of sentries and losing a decent amount of probes in the process. DongRaeGu killing in total 7 probes during that attack.
And he actually lost his forge in the process as well.
Lost his forge.
So he can't make cannons to defend.
But Huck looking pretty solid after defending that. In fact, DongRaeGu made a ton more speedlings that he's actually not really going to be able to use for a while. He's going to be able to use them to control the middle of the map, but he's not going to be aggressive with those. But luckily for DongRaeGu, or not luckily, but smartly, he's made a macro hatchery, so he lost a lot of production in those Zerglings, but with that 3rd hatchery coming out, he's going to be able to drone up extremely quickly. And most likely he'll be taking a 3rd pretty soon afterwards.
Yeah, DongRaeGu, he'd made a lot more units to try and break Huck. He's like, all right, I've got the inn, I've broken the front, I'm now going to just stream more reinforcements in and kill him, but then he kind of barely hold, and so DongRaeGu was stuck in this kind of middle place where he's like, all right, well, do I make more units now, or do I drone up? And so he made a little bit of both. It's going to be a little bit disadvantageous for... Oh, almost catches those Zerglings.
Yeah, that would have been really nice if Huck had caught those. I almost said, well, that was kind of a waste, but you know, for the risk involved, if he had actually gotten that, it would have been quite good. He chrono boosts the forge that isn't researching anything. Bit of a mistake. Didn't have enough gas. He thought he did. Every pro does that every once in a while. You're like, I'll just make this in front of it. Miss it. In fact, he's actually not re-queuing that +1 ground weapon, so bit of a mistake by Huck. He really needs to get that upgrade out ASAP. Roach speed is on the way.
He must have thought that it made and didn't realize.
Yeah, exactly. Now Huck's being really aggressive in the middle of the map here. DongRaeGu is making a 2nd spine. His Zerglings are going to go for a huge counterattack, but Huck has some Zealots and a cannon in place. Will the Zerglings sneak by? They do sneak by.
Needs to warp in something to block them, though.
And Huck actually not committing very well in the middle of the map, taking a lot of damage on his Stalkers as the spine finishes up.
And these Zerglings still doing more damage. He's going to warp in a few more Zealots, but will it be enough?
Well,
and meanwhile, at the front, losing some units in this attack.
He didn't attack very well. Now it looks like DongRaeGu may have bought enough time to hold this, but it's going to be close. Drones are coming off the line. I don't think DongRaeGu can hold this, though.
He may not be able to. One of the spines has gone down. The 2nd spine's going to go down. The Roaches and drones can't actually get there due to the force fields to reinforce. So the spine crawler does go down. Huck now is a beautiful position.
6 more Roaches and Roach Speed are about to finish, though.
He is almost out of force fields, though. I think he has 1 more, so he cannot control the location of the battle anymore.
And these drones are actually being taken out. I think he should actually transfer these drones back. They're not really engaging anymore. He's trying to trap these Stalkers, but more Stalkers coming in here. And DongRaeGu is in a lot of trouble because now Huck can just push back up the ramp. Even though he has Roach speed, he doesn't have the Roach count he needs. He's trying to get those more Roaches out. He's got 5 more on the way. He's droning up a little bit more. He's going to lose his Queen, which means no more injects.
Huck is going for the kill. Here he moves in. Roaches forced to fall back to the ramp. There's just more Stalkers than there are Roaches, and that is probably going to clinch the deal for Huck.
Yeah, it
he
looks
doesn't have
like
Blink,
it.
but he's still microing very well just with simple move commands. And more Roaches coming in, but more Stalkers coming in. I think Huck just has so much economy that he can outpace the reinforcement
And
of
the pylon
DongRaeGu.
looks like it's going to go up. When those pylons go up, he's just going to have too many Stalkers reinforcing. DongRaeGu is going to lose here. He even has an observer out to clear any creep tumors that might be made to help push this back. It's not going to work, and these pylons will finish. He's trying his best here to push these Stalkers back, but look at that. 4 more Stalkers warping in. Beautiful micro by Huck, pulling back his weakened Stalkers time and time again.
Yeah.
And with these Zerglings popping out, it's going to be harder for Huck to move down the bottom of the ramp, but he'll be able to. DongRaeGu has a 3rd base at the top left, but he can't use it. He doesn't have any drones there. He can't transfer any drones there. And he doesn't even have any drones as natural anyways. Right now it's 48 probes and 26 drones.
Yeah,
Huck making
basically
cannons.
has double the economy because he's mining at 2 bases and DongRaeGu's mining 1. And Immortal in the mix will seal the deal. GG. Immortals just do so much damage to roaches that with even one in that situation, it tipped the scales heavily in Puck's favor.
And the cans at the top of the ramp are just kind of Puck's way of saying, all right, man, what can you really do?
Exactly. So Huck ties up the series, and that is going to bring it to a final game, game number 3. It's going to be DongRaeGu's choice of map, though. And so that's going to be interesting to see what he picks. And so remember, if DongRaeGu wins this last game, then he will win the group, and he will actually advance to the semifinals. If Huck wins the last game, then we'll have a tie, and then we're going to need to bust out some tiebreakers.
We'll do a playoff, but it'll actually be a 3-way tie, so we'll just basically repeat the group, but it's going to be best of 1 to the best of 3, so it's a much more tense situation. That supply drop all in that wins against Huck might actually feel a little bit more painful in that type of situation.
I'm not sure if MVP would count on a chance
I don't
like
think
that
so, man.
in a best of 1 situation. But
DongRaeGu has chosen Dual Sight as his final map here. It's a 2-player map, a relatively small map, but a map he clearly feels comfortable on. Puck is spamming in the lobby. He says it's time to start.
Yep, we're going to get started here in just a moment. Yeah, he's spamming up, really spamming up the lobby right now. Doesn't have a way of warming up in the game yet. The game hasn't started.
And the game is starting now. The countdown has started. I am Wolf, and with me is Moletrap. This is the Arena of Legends. DongRaeGu, 1 win away from victory. If Huck brings it back, though, we'll have a 3-way tie. Let's find out what's going to happen.